Hello, welcome to 2026 astrology. I can't believe it. We're here. We've finally arrived, and the energies are starting to really get to our consciousness, shall we say? And speaking of which, the unconscious, the moon is going to be illuminated for us tomorrow, or today, whenever it is you're listening to this, on the 3rd of January. GMT, it is at 2 minutes past 10 and it's at 13 degrees. So the full moon is an opposition. The sun will be in Capricorn and the moon is in Cancer. So what does that mean? Well, that basically means that we actually have energies coming in on the axis of home and work. We have the inner world, the outer world, a culmination point of possibly lots of processing going on in our emotional world, maybe to do with family, maybe to do with how we want to be nurtured, the feelings that we have that is internal and possibly quite private, the things that we feel, the things we need. There's also a stellium as well. There's also a stellium of planets building up that we also have in Capricorn. So it's definitely, with being in Capricorn season, a time for planning and a time for people, in the Gregorian calendar, the new year can be a time where we want to set our intentions. For me, the new year sort of starts more the beginning of the Chinese New Year, and then the Aries energies coming in. However, the Capricorn is a time where we're building for the future. We're setting the goals. So what's this full moon got to do with that? Well, it's to do with these huge changes that are coming around to us, that there's so many things going on in the skies at the moment to do with completely new starts. And I believe that this particular full moon is a culmination point of how we feel about all of that, and how the Capricorn area, the stellium that's opposite the moon, is asking us to start taking those actions, in which we are taking action steps now. I would imagine most of you are. We've got Mars in Capricorn, we've got Mercury, so we're thinking about our goals, we're acting on our goals, and then we want to think about how we feel about our relationships going forwards. Who do we want to take with us into these new energies that are going to be created from February onwards and throughout 2026, as the energies pick up and become more yang and out there. We are preparing ourselves for those new changes and goals. So the sun is our life force, and the moon is our feelings, our unconscious world. And it's a time of stillness. It's a new moon. We can't really necessarily generate something on that particular day itself, but it's a starting point. It's the starting of a new cycle of how we're on the axis of home, family, nurture, and ambition, what we want to build for the future, diligence, our goals, our long-term plans. And it's going to take endurance. We know this. It's going to take a lot of endurance. And so that's where the energy is right now, is in the area of Capricorn, where you strive for what you want and you take it seriously and you refine and fine-tune every step of the way. And I think that we have, some energies that are lending themselves to taking care of the details and maybe letting go of the finer details that don't really matter. So that's the refinement process. So because there's a bit of a trine happening with the South Node in Virgo as well. So I think that the Capricorn is working nicely with the South Node in Virgo to perhaps we're just going to let go a little bit more of the perfectionism, but at the same time still striving for excellence. So that's the CEO energy of the Capricorn moving us forwards. But the illumination is actually on the moon from the sun. So the inner and outer world, we are now working out what we're going to do to go forwards, but we need to figure out how we feel about it. So I think it's a culmination point of how we feel about what we're going to do. And it's all happening really fast. Everything's happening quite fast. We're thinking outside the box a bit more now, and we're moving energies forward towards future. And it's about what we want in our hearts. and then how are we going to nurture that through the actions we take going forwards to take it seriously. So I can go through the houses with you now. Okay, so for Aries, for you, this is falling for you in your 4th house. So it's even more emphasis on home life. So it's just everything I've just said for you for Aries. And I mean, for you, you've got huge changes. So I think you might be getting things in order. There's going to be a huge shift, as you know, in February, if you've been following astrology. Then it's a huge change going on for you in your actual identity, and everything that you're putting forwards into the world is shifting. And maybe your home life and what you need from home and family life needs to be evaluated, and feelings about that. And then the opposite for how you're going to bring that security in. So creating security for yourself through work. So that's, and then we have Taurus. Taurus, for you, it's in the 3rd house of how we're processing information and daily information. So it's to do with your daily life. How do you feel? What are you feeling to get security in your daily life? It could be siblings could be involved in this full moon, and it could be to do with neighbours even, and your local environment and your day-to-day energies, how you think, how you communicate. And then we have Gemini, for you, it's in your 2nd house, very much to do with generating your own resources, gaining security in that area. Self-esteem as well can be part of it. What do you need to feel safe? What do you need to feel secure? Cancer, for you, it's all about your personal self. It's security within for yourself, and your everything is happening for you. Fresh starts. It's actually also related to career to some extent, because it's Capricorn energy, of course, and where the sun is and everything that I've talked about before. But there's going to be a new beginning for you in your 10th house, sort of from February the 14th. Things are going to be shifting. So perhaps you're getting yourself ready for this new way of venturing and going about your life, to do with identity and how you see yourself. It's very, very personal indeed, but it's about you and your relationship with others. So maybe your relationship with others at work, and how you feel personally yourself, how you see yourself in your home life, your family, your identity of your family, your family of origin, perhaps. For Leo, for you, it's in the 12th house. So maybe this is going to shine a light a little bit more on the subconscious mind and things in the background that you're doing, spiritual work perhaps in the background. How are you feeling about things that you've been trying to face, but it's been kind of hidden? So perhaps the hidden is coming forward for you to examine a little bit more, and that's obviously been happening, and perhaps you feel a little bit more spiritually protected in that area, because we've got Jupiter there as well. But it's quite quiet and hidden and not necessarily known by others. And then Virgo rising, for you, it's in your 11th house of networks and friendships. So, and then the ambitions of how you want to express yourself out there in the world. So how are you going to be sharing your creative ambitions? How are they going to be then shared out there, and how would that create security for you within yourself and how you connect with others? Self-expression and sharing it with your community, your wider network, not so much one-to-one friendships, but wider network. So perhaps there's some kind of culmination energy within those networks. Perhaps tomorrow you'll feel a little bit of closure, or sort of release there, so that you know where to head and what sort of things to plan creatively for yourself, and maybe even taking those risks that you need to take, ironically, in order to create the security in the long run, to reap some benefits from those rewards, the goals that you've got, that are creative. And it could be something to do with your children, as well, some goals that you've got there for your family life in that regard. And then for Libra, for you, it's falling in your house of career and ambition and status. So maybe things are happening for you in your home life and your status within your family. Maybe something's going to change there. We have energies moving along there nicely, I would think, for you. And then we have, for some reason I've stopped there in my notes. Scorpio, I'll just have to look at my computer. Scorpio, for you, it's in the 9th house of higher mind, education. Perhaps for you, you're looking at trying to expand your horizons more, but it's about how you're going to get there, what safety, how are you going to feel the protection and safety within that area of life, and what kind of details need to be dealt with in order to make that happen, and how you get, or maybe it's communicating some of your ideas as well. So we've got that going on there in your 9th house. Okay, and then we have Sagittarius rising. For you, it's falling in your 8th house of joint finances. So I would say maybe it's something to do with inheritance. Family inheritances, something's going to change there for you, isn't it, to do with that. And also as well, maybe it's about your own personal finances. It could be a bit of a, how are you going to find that financial independence, or is it, and also at the same time, how is it going to be shared? How is your money shared with other people? Have you got loans and debts? And it can also be to do with shared values, but basically anything shared with that, where you're merging with someone else. It can also be psychological imprints to do with family life, what gives you security. There could be some deep work and transformational work going on there. That might actually, the bigger picture of all this, which I know is important for you, the bigger picture of all this could also be that there's the bigger changes in your life are happening to do the new starts in February, linked with how you express yourself and find that creativity and that just expansion within yourself, like the self-expression of it all. And then we have Capricorn rising. And for you, it's very, very much about your own sense of self and the relationship with others and how you feel safe in that sense of self. And there's going to be some new information, perhaps not so much information, but new insights, if you like, into how you really feel about things to do with other people, to do with children, family life, security, and the goals that you need to be making independently. And it's something you're doing for yourself. It's quite subjective, the area of your work. And maybe there's a little bit of an emotional pull because what you do affects the other. So that there could be that happening for you. And your imminent new beginnings that are being opened up in February are happening in your 4th house. So certainly home life is something that's coming into focus. I need to put my glasses on so I can see a bit better at my screen. Yeah, so the 4th house is where you've got your Aries energy, and lots of things are ending and changing for you at the moment in your actual immediate environment. So it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it, for you to find out how you really feel about some things in your relationships moving forwards, because there are definitely things happening around you and in your one-to-one relationships that you've been feeling through. So Aquarius rising, for you, this full moon is falling for you in your 6th house. So health is a focal point, perhaps. Some things, maybe your daily routines and things, and daily work as well, are definitely coming into your forefront of your mind. And then, you know, the background work that's going on, maybe even hidden ambitions, and have been the inner world and the outer world for you, to do with your daily runnings of things and systems, and how to make sense of things and to help things run smoothly. But your daily life, your daily work, and how you feel about that. Is it working for you? Is it your needs being met? And then finally, we have Pisces, Pisces rising. So for you, Pisces rising, the full moon is in your 5th house of creativity. The moon is there, and the sun is in the 11th house of networks. So you are expressing yourself out there with your ambitions in your network. So a lot of the building that you're doing seems to be to do with maybe like in your wider networks, not necessarily one-to-one, but larger groups, maybe even on the internet. And the 5th house, of course, can also be to do with how you feel about taking risks, with new beginnings. And what else is happening for you? Yeah, I mean, you're trying to perhaps think about how to become a little bit more self-sufficient in your resources, or you're wanting to have a new beginning in how you feel about your own independence and raising your self-esteem. So good luck with that. And that's the run through very quickly of the houses. So it's about what we need and how we're going to get there, and the creation of security. So good luck with that, and lots of love. Welcome to 2026 energies, where things get real and they get more exciting, I like to think. So bottle up, it's going to be fast. See you soon. Bye.